Hey, Dirty Forkers. Welcome back to another episode of Making Moves. I am already a little glam today. We're going to be touching up as I podcast. If you're not watching the YouTube video, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the video content. My thought process with my uploading schedule is like you get to end your week and decompress and get a little like bite-sized piece of the motivation in my vlogs on Sundays. So you can decompress, like get your cleaning done, do your reset. Like I'm trying to accommodate to your schedule, if I'm being honest, because it's like, I know you're resetting. I know you're getting your shit together. I know you're cooking. Like it's a good vlog day, if we're being honest. So Sunday is your reset day. You can watch the vlog. And then Monday, on your way to work, on your way home from work, you're needing a little extra spark, a little extra oomph in your day or your week. And it's like, let's start it with a Making Moves episode, because I can almost guarantee you'll feel at least 1% better about yourself after listening to this, because it'll fire you the fork up. And like, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be your cheerleader. I'm here to be your partner in crime. I'm here to gas you up when no one else will. Okay. Anyway, a quote that I seem to not be able to get out of my damn head lately is, how you do something is how you do everything. Let me say it again. How you do something is how you do what? Everything. You guys know I'm a quote girl. You know I'm a saying girl. I'm also an analogy girl. When something just like hits different, I can't explain it. I can't get it out of my head. I like apply it to everything in my life. And I feel like this is one of those quotes that has been just like recurring in my life lately. I want to talk about the concept of how you do something is how you do everything. Good Lord, my makeup is crusty. Like I really need to touch it up, but like, let's get into this and we'll touch up along the way. So I obviously did a little research for y'all and I looked up this exact quote because I'm like, who the fork came up with this? Because they're a genius, you know? And according to the internet, it says the exact origin of the quote, how you do anything is how you do everything. Oh, I was saying something. Oh, I'm already a flop. Anyway, how you do anything is how you do everything is unclear, but it's commonly attributed to T. Harv Eker, a businessman and motivational speaker known for his work on financial success and mindset. Okay, slay, go off. It says, however, similar sentiments have been expressed in various forms by different thought leaders, including Aristotle, who famously said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. End quote. To continue the article, it says, the phrase has also been widely used in personal development, business, and athletic coaching circles, reinforcing the idea that attention to detail and discipline in small tasks reflects a person's overall approach to life. Y'all know I've done several episodes and segments and bits across all my social media platforms on the key to forming habits, and the book Atomic Habits in itself is just like such a piece of gold. If you've never read it, I highly, highly, highly recommend. In fact, I don't even recommend it. It's like, you literally have to. Like, babe, that's your winter reading for right now. Atomic Habits, buy the Audible book, listen to it when you've wrapped Making Moves for the week and you need to listen to something too on your commute to work. The way that book really breaks down how to make real life changes in your life is truly incredible. It's so digestible, and anyone can take something from that book. This to me isn't just about forming habits. I think that's a huge part of it, but I also think it's being really consistent as a person. When I think about this quote, how you do anything is how you do everything, it kind of reminds me of the saying where it's like, if you want something done, ask a busy person to do it. And I think if my name were to come up in conversation in relation to that quote, if you want something done, ask a busy person to do it. And someone's like, oh, TK, I am flattered, okay? Because that type of person is who I want to be. That type of person gets shit done. That type of person is reliable. That type of person is consistent across the board. That type of person is a rock star in my eyes. I think what's cool about the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything, is that when I think about myself and I'm like, how I do anything is how I do everything, that means that no matter how small the task, how big the task, how unimportant the person is, how important the person is, regardless of what's going on, you're going to get a solid, hard worker, badass, boss ass bitch, because that's how I am. I'm going to show up and be reliable and be a force in any room I walk into. I'm consistent. I'm reliable. I'm awesome. I'm someone people just wants to have around. I'm someone people recommend. Isn't that the dream, to be the first person that comes to mind when someone needs a good candidate for something? Wouldn't that be awesome to be in that Rolodex of people of names that are thrown out there? For instance, I'm having a Super Bowl party this weekend. Wouldn't it be cool if I was like asking a friend, I was like, hey, who do you think I should invite? And like, they immediately are like, you have to invite TK. You have to invite so-and-so. Like, they're the best. Okay. Just in like a social, personal setting, lit. Love that idea. Okay. Because they know they're going to get a good vibe. They know I'm going to help when it's time to clean up. They know I'm going to be into the game. They know I'm going to participate in the games the host has. They know I'm going to show up not empty-handed. Okay. They know I'm just like a solid person to have around and to invite. Now let's think in a work setting. Okay. In my case, let's say agents are talking to a production company and they're like, we're looking for a person that can really slay this role or this hosting gig. I want to be the person that they're like, listen, no matter what this girl's numbers are, she's going to deliver an amazing deal. She's going to put her whole back into it. She's going to turn it in on time. Like, I want to be consistent across the board, no matter how big or how small the task is, because how I do anything is how I do everything. Now, don't get me wrong. We're human. Sometimes I don't make my bed. Okay. Sometimes I don't do my skincare at night. Okay. It's once in a blue moon, but I would say 80-90% of the time I have my effing shit together. And that's what matters to me, is like 80% of the time being the fork on. Sometimes you can be off. I get it. We all have off days. We're human. Shit happens. I get it. That's why I'm giving you this 80-20 percentage rule situation. And I love the 80-20 rule. That's a whole other podcast for another day. Lately, I've just been in a lot of rooms, and it's fascinating watching how others treat people, like in LA. And, if they don't know who they are, it's kind of like they blow them off. But if they know who they are, they turn it on. I understand that's human, but that's not me. How I treat one person is how I treat everyone. Okay. I'm going to treat them with kindness. I'm going to treat them with respect. I'm going to give them my all, and I do think there is something to like, setting boundaries, putting yourself first. And we all know when to do that. But how you treat others across the board, no matter who the fork they are, is important. Okay. Not only in like an ulterior motive way, because like, let's just be honest, like, you never know where someone's going to end up. Like, you never know if they're going to blow up and, all of a sudden be really powerful and rich. Okay. That's just the first thing. But you also never know when you're in a crisis and like you need their help, or, you need someone to throw you a bone, and they're not going to recommend you if you're not consistent across the board. They're not going to recommend you if you only treat rich people nicely. They're certainly not going to set you up with their best friend if you only give the time of day to people with clout. Like, that's literally like bigger than a red flag. And what's funny is like, people don't think it's obvious. It's literally couldn't be more obvious when people aren't consistent across the board, when they're not treating everyone with the same respect. You don't have to be the most kindest person in the world. You don't have to be, a comedian when I meet you. You don't have to be the warmest and fuzziest person in the world. But if you don't treat me with respect, you're immediately going into my people that give me icky vibes note. Just so I remember, because I'm a nice person and I forget. And sometimes it's hard for me to hold a grudge. And I need to remember, like, no, you didn't treat me right because you didn't know me. And that's like icky vibes. I don't want anyone like that around me. This quote is something I'm constantly reminding myself of in just like little areas of things that I'm slacking on. For instance, cleaning my house, the gym, little things with my business that I don't deem as that important. Okay. This is the stuff I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the big red carpet day that I get every once in a blue moon. Okay. I'm not talking about your big promotion day. I'm talking about the minuscule, mundane days when you're not really feeling like it and you're not necessarily going to get anything from giving it 100. It just got me thinking, like, if I were to give my mundane, minuscule tasks 100p, how would that in the long run change my business? How would that in the long run affect my relationships? It can't hurt, right? And when people notice those things, then you become first place when people are talking highly about someone and they need a recommendation, you become first place, like on their roster of like who to recommend. The reason I was like thinking about this quote is because this week I went to this book sale in Beverly Hills. It's called the Toshin Bookstore. And if you don't know what Toshin is, they're these fabulous coffee table books. The only books I really like to read, if I'm being honest. I'm not even reading. I'm just like looking at photos. But like they're the chicest, sexiest, most fun coffee table books. I highly recommend. They're having a huge sale right now. Anyway, I went to the sale and I ran into a few friends. And one of the guys that I ran into was someone I've only met like once or twice before. And it was very in passing, didn't really talk much. But I've always been nice. I've always treated them with respect. You know, I've always looked them in the eye and we've had a good moment. Okay. And I'm not saying it was life-changing. I'm not saying it was riveting, but we had a good moment. Okay. So now this third time I was like, okay, I really feel comfortable. Let me chat a little bit more. You know, we were running into each other a few times at the bookstore. And then I think we had such a good time. They invited me to go to eat with them after. So then we go eat and, you know, I'm still yapping. And then before you know it, you know, I'm talking to these people I don't really know. I was down to like do what they wanted and hang with the crew and give it my all and be myself and just be a fun vibe for them to be around. If I'm going to toot my own horn, I probably was pleasantly surprising to them. I feel like they were like, oh, you know, this conversation is a little more fun with this level of spice being added to our group for a hot second. So I'm having a good time. I'm getting to know these people. I didn't know who one of them was. And I was just yapping. Before I know it, you know, he knows people in high places. Like, again, didn't know that, was just yapping, having a good time. And, you know, stuff unfolded. And by the end of the dinner, the guy that I had met twice and had good 2 solid, short and sweet encounters with, this person goes, you know what, TK? I just had someone reach out to me about a potential Coachella opportunity. They're one of my friends. They're very high up at this company. And they said, hey, can you send over like some really good new faces of influencers that you think would be a good fit for us to partner with during Coachella this year? And this guy proceeds to tell me, you know what? I'm totally going to send your name over. He goes, you're so awesome. You were awesome when I met you. You've always been nice. You're such a good vibe. Like, I love your energy. And he was like, I would love to send your name over if that's cool with you. And I go, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, had no idea that was on the table. Had no idea this person even was affiliated with the person who's going to do the Coachella partnerships. Like, you just never know. And it made me proud of the way that I treated people I didn't know at all, because good shit comes from that. Good shit comes from you treating people with kindness and respect across the board, no matter who they are, what they can give you, and what type of mood you're in. Put it aside for a second. Stop half-assing it and be a light in this person's life for 5 seconds, because you never know what can come around. So I'm like so flattered. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so kind. Like, thank you. And then you know what? He even proceeded to ask me, he goes, you know what? Do you have anyone you recommend, you know, for these partnerships? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, you know, who's someone I really like? Who's someone that would be a good recommendation? Because I don't want to recommend someone that would make this brand look like a flop, and then it would be a bad reflection on me. I'm like thinking these things. Who's consistent across the board? Who's a fun time? Who's not a complainer? Who's a hard worker? Who puts 100p into everything they do, no matter what it is? And then I start, you know, kind of going through my following, and I'm very, very specific about who I recommend. One thing I'm not going to give you is a bad recommendation. And heaven forbid I do, I will apologize and take accountability for it. So it really just got me thinking. And then a day or two after, I got a DM from another person in this group that I went to dinner with. These are like people I just like have loosely ran into. Like, I don't know them well at all. She was like, hey, TK, it was so nice it was so nice going to dinner with you. I love your energy and I love your vibe. Can we please hang again soon? That was awesome. It was the type of text that would give someone with social anxiety, it would put them at ease. Okay. It was like, oh my God, that was so kind. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't hoping for that. Again, I was just like, that's so amazing. And I feel like me as a person in this entertainment world, and as a person where recommendations matter and where names are being thrown all over the place, as far as like, you should work with this person. You should check out TK. You should blah, blah, blah. Okay. When I think about recommendations, I'm now like, whoa. The fact that these 3 people that I don't really know maybe would now consider me when they're recommending me is insane. And it goes back to the fact that I was consistent across the board. I was nice across the board, no matter who they are, what they did. Had no idea. When I tell you, like, didn't have the slightest clue. And I think it just goes to show that how you treat someone is how you treat everyone, and how you do anything is how you do everything. And you know what? The details matter. Okay? You should always care about the details. I used to say, like, growing up all the time, I'd be doing something I didn't want to do, and I would like tell my mom, I'd be like, I don't care. And then my mom would always counteract it with, you should always care. And I think it's like the same energy. If nothing comes from giving it your all, if nothing comes from doing it 100%, at least you know you did it. I feel like I'm my harshest critic. And when I know I gave it my forking all, and, you know, the brand still doesn't like what I delivered, or someone's still not happy with me, or whatever the case is, then that's when I'm like, I don't care, because I know I gave it my all. And when I am happy with the effort I have put in, I can walk away stress-free because I know I gave it my all. I hate the feeling of knowing, oh, I probably could have tried a little bit harder. Oh, probably should have set more time beforehand to do that. I hate when I like beat myself up about literally choosing to not give it my all. So it just begs the question, Dirty Forkers, like, what areas in your life are you kind of giving it 20, 30, maybe even 70%? What if you made time to put in that extra 30%? So now you're 100% committed to your small tasks. Because you know what? Over time, it's literally scientifically proven. Read Atomic Habits. Over time, when you're giving 100 to the small tasks, the little things are what make you accomplish the big tasks. Without the little tasks, the big tasks don't exist. Research indicates that small, consistent actions can lead to significant changes over time. I feel like the most obvious thing is like the gym and like getting fit. You're not going to get your dream body or to your health goal by like skipping out and half-assing the small tasks. What do you mean you're going to run a marathon every day and like eat healthy but not drink water? Like, huh? That doesn't make sense. Like, why don't you dial back those two other things, dial back the running to a good 3 miles, dial back the eating habits, and like include the water, you know? Even like in a work setting, like, are you showing up 5 minutes late? Because like when I tell you, people notice. Are you half-assing the small tasks? Because your boss will notice. And people notice, more importantly, when you're crushing it, when you're giving it your all. And it makes a difference in the long run. That's what gets you your promotion. How you spend $10 is how you will spend $10,000 or $10 million, okay? If you're just tossing around $10, you arguably will do the same once you're rich with $10,000. So I just want you to think about little things in your life that you feel like you could give 100% to so that it helps you in the long run. For me, I think about my finances. I'm like, okay, there are probably a lot of times where I really could just cook food instead of ordering. And like, I really would save a lot of money over time. Kind of rocket money your life, okay? In your brain. And you're like, where am I spending a little too much? Where can I dial back on? What's a deal breaker versus not a deal breaker for me? Why do I need A, B, and C? Like, do you really need that to live? Because if you're saving even $10 a month more than what you were last year, like, that shit adds up. What if there was a world where you're saving $100 a month? Okay. And then you have $1,200 at the end of the year and you can invest that. Or you can finally splurge on the vacation you've always wanted to go to. Or you can get someone the gift you've always wanted to get. Or you can save for hiring a future employee. You know what I mean? Like when I think about the things I want to do with my business, are I want to one day buy a house. I want to hire an employee full time. I want to have an office and a studio. And it's like, if I'm not giving the small tasks and the foundation of my business 100p right now, how can I ever expect to scale my business? How can I ever expect to reach those goals? Even when I think about relationships, this saying can apply because it's like, have there been times where I was bothered by something and I didn't bring it up or I didn't speak out about it or I didn't communicate clearly? So now I'm like building up resentment over time. And it's just like, if I would have nipped it in the bud, then we wouldn't have a blow up fight 6 months down the road. And something I always say on this podcast is like, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. I feel like people fork up this mindset because they will tell themselves like, oh, I'll try when it really matters. What? When does it matter? Because that's a crazy way to live. Like, yeah, I'll try when it really matters. Girl, I would never hire someone that is going to try when it really matters. Oh, so I'm not good enough for you? Think of your small tasks as little people. Like they're like, I wasn't a big enough task for you to take seriously. Think of your bed being like, oh, so you're not going to make me because I'm not an important enough task? Like your bed is literally just like a shy girl that wants to be made. And it's like literally so easy and takes 5 minutes out of your day. What do you mean she's not a big enough task? And also, by the way, when I think about like guys that I like, that would be a huge red flag and turn off to me if a guy was like, oh, I'll try when it matters. Like, ew. If a guy said that to me in any way, shape, or form, no matter what category it's in, I would be like, ew. Like, I want you to bust your ass when you do anything, because that's hot. That's a solid person. That's someone I want around. Like, you're telling me you're going to wait till you're motivated? Babe, we don't know when that's going to be. You know, a lot of people are like, the right guy comes when you're least expecting it. Shut the fuck up. That's literally so stupid. I hate when people say that. It comes when you're least expecting it. Babe, I've literally never expected it. First of all, what do you mean I'm going to try and start dating when it really matters? When does it really matter? When I'm too old and too busy and I can no longer have kids and people are cuffed? So the question is, how do you give it your all? How do you do the most? How do you ultimately level up your entire life? Okay. And it's by starting small. It's doing the small tasks, making your bed, drinking a little bit more water, picking up after yourself, doing your skincare routine, taking your athletic greens, and most importantly, above all, keeping the promises you make to yourself. If I want to be a big YouTuber, why am I not uploading consistently? Even though I have excuses, there's no excuse. Even though I'm busy, everyone's busy. Figure it the fork out. I was like, I don't know. I'm just like not a consistent uploader. My schedule is all over the place and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, girl, if you want something, stick to it. Because like, that's where you start. If you want to be fit by summer, like if you want to have your dream body by summer, what do you mean you're not going to go to the gym until it's important? Like you're telling me a week before you're going to start going to the gym? That just doesn't make sense. So think about those areas in your life that you're kind of pushing on the back burner. You're like, I'll get to that. Because there's never a good time to get to something. Like you're always going to be busy. There's always going to be a conflict. There's always going to be a new person that's banging your line and like you don't have time to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like life is hard. People are busy. Everyone's busy. You're not special. You know? You really aren't. Like figure it the fork out. Some people have it figured out and it's because they are committed to keeping the promises that they tell themselves. So whatever it is that you want to commit to, stick to it. Like just start with one thing, you know? Think of it as a pipe underneath your sink, okay? And think about that pipe. Let's say it has like the tiniest bit of a leak, okay? So now the pipe is operating at like a 90% instead of a 100. You know, it's not sealed the way it should be sealed. And over time, you run the sink, you're using it, you're washing your dishes. And over time, the leak gets a little bigger because you never sealed the part where it's leaking. What's it going to do, Dirty Forkers? The pipe is going to burst, okay? And then it's going to be a shit show because you're not even going to be able to use the sink. So what in your life has a little bit of a leaking pipe and how can we seal it up? That's what I want you to think about. Whatever it is that you need to do to seal that pipe, I don't even know if I'm speaking in like correct construction terms. Like I don't know anything about that. But once you think of that habit that you can do every day to help make that pipe sealed up and 100% and ready to go so that the sink never bursts, stick to it. Commit to that one habit. So I'm down to share what I'm trying to seal up in my life. Like what am I not giving 110% to that I want to? Okay. And for me, that would be filming my brand deals. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always try and give 100, but sometimes I don't like the way that I'm planning them. Sometimes I'm not allocating enough time so that I can really give it 100. Sometimes I wait till the last minute and I still give it 100, but I don't have enough time to do what I really want to do. You know, I didn't plan accordingly. I didn't hire a filmer. I didn't have enough time to edit or whatever the case is. And for me, what I'm trying to do is I found the leaking pipe problem in me filming my brand deals. And that's just the scheduling of it all. I want to make sure that I have like 2, maybe 3 days to film this bad boy. Okay. And I have unlimited hours to fix shit if I don't like it. And I can take unlimited takes. Like I don't want to be rushed because when I'm rushed, I don't make as good of content. That's one pipe I'm trying to fix. Okay. Another leaky pipe in my world is my podcast. I feel like in the past, I would come prepared and I would do the best I could with the time that I had. But now it's like, no, I'm making time to prepare so that I'm not even questioning for a second if what I'm delivering on the mic is good. I know that I know this guest from the front to the back, and they could bring up anything in their life and I'm going to know about it because I've done my research. And don't get me wrong, I do my research, but sometimes there's been times when I'm recording or, when I'm interviewing a guest where it's like, I just felt like I gave it 80 or maybe 90 or maybe 99. There have been times where I knew I could have done more. And I hate that feeling. I hate when I feel like I could have done more. Same with my friendships and my relationships. I think there's been times where, I was really, really bothered by something and I didn't bring it up. If someone's truly my friend and I have an issue with something they did, I should be able to bring it up and they should be able to understand where I'm coming from. And I will say I have gotten a lot better at it, but it's hard. Sometimes that extra 10% is hard to do. And that's why we let it go. But I think in the long run, it makes your life stronger and better. Even when I'm thinking about the Super Bowl party, it's like normally I would kind of put things off till Saturday and Sunday and just get shit done. But I'm going all out all week. I have prepped, I have planned, I've been DMing people, places, and things. I've been organizing, scheduling, and I'm going all out. And I'm so proud of myself because not only am I making content around this, I now have the time to organize it the way I want. I'm documenting it, so it's part of my job. I'm excited about it. It's I know it's going to go well because of how much I've prepped and planned, and I put 100 into it. And sometimes I even trick myself. I didn't like my sleep schedule. I feel like that was kind of a leaky pipe in my world. I was very inconsistent with the times I would wake up. And I was always I want to be that girl that constantly wakes up at 7, So I tricked myself and I was the one thing that'll get me to start waking up at 7 is if I plan 8 a.m. walks. And that's what I've been doing. I literally, for the next week, I have 3 walks scheduled because I'm always banging people's line. I love to yap. I certainly love to walk. And when I know I have a walk scheduled, I know I'm going to show up. I know the days I won't show up for myself, I'll still just show up for someone else. So if you need to trick your brain so that you fulfill the task you want to fulfill, by all means, do what you got to do. The bottom line is, if and when you let the small tasks slip, it will be the demise of your big tasks. Your big task won't even exist. Your big moment in your career or your business or your relationship won't ever happen if you're letting the small stuff slip. Tiny, tiny, tiny habits that you have broken down can either be a huge strength in your world or a huge weakness in your world. And it's up to you to choose. Are these habits going to ultimately change my life for the better or the worse? So it's up to you. What are you choosing? Do the tiny tasks matter or do they not? I'm team tiny task. Y'all know me. I love a task that's broken down into 80 tasks because then it makes me feel good about myself. I literally do that on my to-do list. I'll have a big task and then write down all the tiny things. It'll be upload YouTube video, and then it'll be make thumbnail, export the video. I'll put literally the most tiny tasks so that it makes me feel good about myself. Do what you got to do. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the things. My handle's at TK's Juicy Pulls. My YouTube channel, I upload every Sunday. You can just search Taylor King or TK's Juicy Pulls. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to recap my Super Bowl party. Go Chiefs, go Taylor's boyfriend. And be sure to make someone else's day this week. Peace. Love you. Oh, and if you're watching the YouTube video, comment down below what tiny task you're going to start taking seriously. Love you.